Good morning. Thank you all for coming out today to celebrate our independence with us. I just want to take a few minutes to talk with you about quite possibly my number one favorite thing in the world, and that's the concept of liberty. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Britney Logan, and I'm the president of Young Americans for Liberty at UCA. I'm going to take a second to brag about our group. We have some pretty awesome t-shirts, as you can see. On the backs of them, though, it asks a simple question. Who should decide whether you wear a seatbelt, own a gun, smoke marijuana, even be a prostitute? You or the state? Now, it's a real conversation starter, especially whenever you're sitting in class and the person behind you is all of a sudden like, so what about being a prostitute? Right in the middle of the lesson. But, the fundamental aspect of all of these seemingly unrelated issues is that as long as you're not infringing on someone else's right to life, liberty, or property, you should be free to make these choices for yourself, free from government intervention. So for example, if I choose not to wear a seatbelt, I'm not hurting anyone. Now, of course, it's a wise choice to make, but that's exactly the point. It's my choice to make and not a politician's. Now, we can extend this same concept to practically every other issue, be it social or economic. I would even argue that you can't have social freedom without economic freedom, or vice versa. I mean, how free socially are you if you can't decide how to spend your own money? How free economically are you if you can't decide how to act or how to live your life? Now, we have some politicians today who will rightfully argue for things like lower taxes and fewer business regulations and the right to manage your own health care and retirement. But then they'll turn around and want to tell you what to put into your own body or what you can do in your own bedroom. Then on the other side, we have other politicians who will advocate for your freedom to choose who you want to marry or the freedom to choose what kind of medicine you want to take. But then at the same time, they will want to control how you spend your money and what you do with it to advance an agenda that they agree with. Now, these kind of politicians are only half right. We should actually be protecting freedom across the board for every individual, and not whenever it's just something that we personally agree with or something that we personally like. But to advocate for or believing that someone should have the liberty to do these things and make these choices for themselves is not necessarily an endorsement of the actual activity. It's simply an endorsement of the belief that people can make these decisions better than a faceless bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. And this is something that I found resonates with a lot of people, and especially my generation, the idea of freedom across the board for every individual. My generation is so disenfranchised with big government that it's ridiculous. And it's not even a Republican versus Democrat or conservative versus liberal issue. We simply don't like being told what to do, no matter who's doing the telling. I mean, we're graduating college right now with degrees that we were told that we needed to survive. We're entering a job market that's barely existed, that's been poorly micromanaged by corrupt politicians. We're dying in wars that we have no business in fighting, nor the money to fight them with. We are being forced to pay into a debt-riddled entitlement system that we can't sustain and that our grandchildren can't even sustain, from which we will never, not only never benefit, but that's actively hurting us. And the purchasing power of our dollar is crumbling away every day, and we're watching the Constitution being shredded right before our eyes, with indefinite detention, warrantless wiretapping by the NSA. The IRS is asking us what we pray about. We're having limits on the amount of bullets that our magazines can hold, and for goodness sakes, we're having limits on how many ounces our soft drinks can hold. Our founding fathers are surely rolling over in their graves right now. But as daunting as that does sound, it's certainly not too late. And there is hope, and it lies in each and every one of us. You do actually have control over your own life, and you do have control over your own future. As Thomas Paine once said, those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. Amen. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that we don't have an uphill battle in restoring our country to its original freedom-loving principles, But as long as we all keep that passion and that hope and that diligence to preserve the freedom and independence that we are all here celebrating today, I believe that we will see liberty maximized in our lifetime, and that we will leave our children an even better United States of America than we have today. Thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you all for the opportunity to let me come up here and speak about something that I'm so very passionate about. I hope you all enjoy your time with your friends and family today, and I just want to encourage you to keep that hope and that passion and that diligence alive, because after all, we have a republic to restore. Happy Independence Day, everyone.